All right, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be going over some Excel basics. I was given a list of some things that are some common problems that you might run into, so we're going to go through a few of those today, hoping to just increase your efficiency in Excel. So first up, our first point we're going to go through is formatting a figure with a dollar sign, a percentage sign, or no sign. So I'm going to start up here with this cell B2. So if you look up top, you're going to go to home and you're going to see this little bar up here, this taskbar. If you go over here, you'll see this general. Down below, you're going to see a dollar sign, a percentage sign, and a comma sign. So if I wanted to turn this number 5 into, let's say, currency, I would hit this. You see how this little attachment up here pops up to accounting? If you wanted to reverse that back, you could either go to number or general. So if I were to hit general, it just goes back to a normal 5. Same thing with percentage. It goes to now percentage. Hit it back to general, we're there, and then as well as your decimals. And so let's say the next question is formatting a figure to add or reduce decimal signs. Over here, underneath the accounting sign, you're going to see these 0.000 left and 0.00 right. If I were to hit this, it would reduce the decimal. However, if I were to hit this, it would add more decimals. So depending on how your teacher wants you to round it, use those buttons for your own free will. Next up, we have dealing with the number sign by stretching out a column width. So what will happen sometimes is if you have a figure, a number figure that's way too big in a cell, it'll pop up by doing all of the hashtags. That doesn't mean you did anything wrong necessarily. That just means that not all the numbers fit in the column. So for example, I have this cell right here, which is just the sum of these numbers. Now, if I were to go, you could take this and drag it out and you would have that. But if you want to do it quicker, you just come up to here and you double click it and it will come and bring the cells out to fit. It actually size fits perfectly. Next up, we have highlighting a cell to yellow or some other color. As you can see right here, I've highlighted this. If you wanted none, you could do that. However, if you did want to highlight, there's a choice of color. I like blue, so boom. Next up is inserting or deleting a row or column and how this is different from inserting or deleting a cell. Let's say we have this right here and I wanted to delete that. I could either come over here and hit delete or clear contents, or I could just hit backspace on that. However, let's say you had a column of ones. We'll go one up, just like this. Let's say you wanted to get rid of a column coming down. All you would do is you would double click up here or right click it, and you could hit delete. When I do that, it deletes all the contents and it reformats it. Now, if I wanted to delete a row, I could come over here to row 32. I could right click it. I could either hit clear contents or delete, and that will do that. Next up, what does it mean when they do a calculation and get a hashtag num? This is actually pretty simple. We see this with certain calculations, whether it could be like a square root or an IRR calculation, is because there are more complex formulas and there are a lot more pieces that go into it. If you did one thing wrong, like leave a parenthesis out or something of the such, it will give you a hashtag num. That just means to go back and double check your formula. There are plenty of ways to do this. You can either, let's say I just wanted to equal sum these two numbers. You could do it by clicking on it and redoing your formula. You could just come up here and retype it in and make sure it's correct. And then last but not least, what does it mean to hard code a figure and what does it mean to hard code a figure instead of referencing cells? So when you hard code a figure, that would be like me taking these two fives and saying, oh, that equals 10. Great. That's a very simple example, but when it comes to more complex numbers, you do want to, it's kind of like showing your work on paper. So instead of hard coding it like that, where you're just doing like subtraction or addition on a calculator, you can actually do it in Excel where you hit an equal sign. And then let's say I wanted to sum it, which is the same thing as adding it. And then boom. So you can see right here, when you come up to your formula, you can actually track the work you did to get the number that you got. So those are just a few things in Excel. Just some good things to know, especially when you're starting out in business classes. these are just some key concepts that I would get down. So thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.